Welcome back. My name is Reverend Steve Benkin, author of Religion, Been There, Done That, Discovering the Map of Your Spiritual Journey, and we're going to continue on discovering the map. Well, let's quickly review. We went through conception, birth religion, non-belief, doubt, literal, ethics, counter-message, and transition. And now we're going to talk about the level that to me is the most important. And I hinted it at the end of the last lecture. And that is the level of mysticism. Now, believe it or not, there is no general consensus to what that word actually means. So let me give you my definition. Mysticism is the yearning to be one with the divine. The yearning to be one with the divine. Now, you can be one with the divine anywhere in here in the map. Any religion you can do that with. But it's the yearning, that's your top priority. That's what life is about. To be one with God, one with divine, one with the universe, the source, the light, whatever you want to call it. And there's three types of mysticism. The first one is religious mysticism. Religious mysticism. That's the way of the Kabbalah, of the monastics, of the Sufis. The thing about religious mysticism is that it's very well defined. It's also done within a community. For the most part, it's assumed you're saying no to the world, you shed your worldly possessions, and you join this community. It also means that it assumes you have fully embraced a specific religion and do all the practices of that religion in addition to the mystical practices. A lot of people don't realize that. To be a real Sufi, it's assumed you're a Muslim and you're practicing the Muslim doctrines and practices. To be a Kabbalist, it's assumed you are Jewish and you're practicing the Jewish law. If you're a monk, a Christian monk, it assumes you embrace the basic Christian beliefs and Christian practices, in addition to the ones that you are taught as a mystic. So typically you shed your worldly possessions, you go to a place where you're taught. It's also under mentorship. This is very, very difficult. My humble opinion, almost impossible to do by yourself. It can be done. It is very, very difficult. But this clearly is done in a community setting, again, where you live in a cloistered community. I humbly submit that this is pretty impractical for most people. And some people say, well, I dabble in monkhood. I dabble in being a Sufi. People tell me that they're Sufis and they got nothing to do with Islam. Yeah, I wonder about that. People tell me they dabble in the Kabbalah. It gives me the chills. You don't dabble in this stuff. This stuff is very deep and very, very serious. And also, if you're not emotionally and spiritually prepared, it can actually be dangerous. I mean, there's some mind-altering experiences that if you're not prepared for, can really mess you up. But what's happening today is something different. People are saying, well, I want to be one with God. I want to be one with the universe. But I'm not going this route. This route is not realistic for me. Now, I've coined a term. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I call it spiritual mysticism. These are people that are trying to embrace mysticism outside of religion. This is the spiritual but not religious community. And it sounds really nice. The problem is that in order to do this, you have to have some kind of theology. You need some kind of support structure. And what I have found is the religions that teach this, they tend to get together on a regular basis. They tend to get to chant. They'll read from a book. Someone will give an inspirational talk. They'll collect money to keep the organization going. And then afterwards they'll break and they have some food and fellowship. And I go, what's the difference between this and church? How are you not a religion? They say, no, we're spiritual but not religious. I'm going, now I talk a lot about in this book about the difference between religion and spirituality. And that is, you think you can get out of religion by being spiritual. I contend it's very, very difficult, if for no other reason that as human beings, we need help in our journey. And that to me is what a church community really is. It's like-minded believers supporting each other. At least to me, that's the real value of a church. And that's why sometimes the social aspect gets distorted and people just only look at the social aspect. But the reason the social aspect is there is to give support to people who are struggling with their faith, who are not at the highest level and want to know how to get there. So this is talked about a lot. I personally question how many people are actually doing it. I know people disagree with me in that analysis. What I think is really happening is what I call new religious mysticism. And so what I'm saying is that it's really a new religion. It's something new. They may not call themselves a religion, but in reality, to me, this is really what's happening. It's a new religious construct. It's maybe not quite as formal. The doctrines are very loose, but there's still some doctrines. You know, I've heard people tell me, Steve, no, I don't have any doctrines. I've got no dogma. I'll go, oh, really? Okay. So you believe it's okay to take an Uzi and kill the Jews? Oh, God, no! No, I don't believe that. Oh, you don't believe that, huh? You believe God is a purple man with a pitchfork that goes around killing people? No, I don't believe that either. Where are you getting these crazy ideas from? The point I'm trying to make is, by not believing in something means you believe something. And what's going on in the New Thought, New Age, and I've done everything from cross to crystals and in between, folks. What's going on in the new religions and the New Thought movement and the New Age movement is a very well-defined theology. It is a very firm doctrine. They don't like to call it that. By the way, I think it's a wonderful doctrine. I'm not knocking it, but I'm saying it is a doctrine. It is a belief system. I suggest yet another way, and for purposes of, I ran out of room on the page, I put it in here, and I call it traditional religion. Not religion mysticism, just traditional religion. By that I mean is you can go into your religion as is, go to the existing service and treat it as a mystical experience. The liturgy could be a mystical experience. I did this in Christianity, and I let communion be a mystical experience for me. I didn't have to change any word of the service. I didn't have to convert to another religion. But because my view of spirituality was such of a mystical mind, that every Christian service became a mystical experience. So I humbly suggest that you can do this. Again, as I said this over and over again, you do not have to leave any specific religion to exercise this map. Now there's two more levels. This is a level of awakening. Notice it's an active verb. You're still not at your highest level yet, but you're very, very close. This is where you're so connected with the divine that it's easy for you to do that. And when you're not connected, you realize it. You still say stupid things, you still hurt people, but you're more aware of it. You still make mistakes, but you're more aware of it. Right? So you're not a perfect human being. You're not even perfect spiritually, but you're more aware of it, and it's easier for you to realign yourself into who you really are, your true spiritual essence, to tap into your divinity and tap into the divine. Then the next level I call, I don't know, because I think the highest level cannot be categorized. I don't think there is a label for this. This is the dimension that's beyond labels, beyond categorization, beyond definition. I don't know what this is, but I know it exists. I believe in my heart that even though I'm nowhere near there, that there is a level. This is the level of Christ, of Buddha, of Muhammad, peace be upon him. Whatever person you thought has reached their highest spiritual attainment in this world. Very few of these. There's been a dozen throughout history. I think that's a lot. Right? So this is the map. We've taken you all the way from conception to your highest spiritual attainment. We've gone over some real basic concepts very, very quickly that I talk about in my book. And I hope you found this of value. Please put your comments below. Again, I encourage you, if you would like to invest in my book. It's available on Amazon. A link is there on the bottom. And if you do get it, please come back, and there's a place to discuss the book on my site. And very interesting to see what you think of it and how it has helped you. I hope this has been an informative, entertaining, and yet practical series of videos. And may God bless you and your family in all your waking days. Amen.